First of all, I want to thank you, Mr. Chad Buckner, Manager of Operations for the Trent-Severn National Historic Waterway. He's been our guide. And one of the main benefits, other than all the information and good times we've had, is that you get some VIP access when you're traveling with someone like Chad. And I guess we're going to get a behind-the-scenes tour of the lift lock?
Yeah, I prefer to call it the under-the-scenes tour of the lift lock, but let's go.
Under? Like we're going underneath those?
We're going to go
things?
under. Let's go
no
under.
No way.
Yeah.
With the duck?
We're going to All right, let's go. And I'll let you go. I'll give you the way.
All right. Whoa.
So we are now standing inside the world's largest freestanding cement structure. So when this site was built, they built it with concrete stacked on top of concrete prior to reinforcing steel or rebar built inside actual concrete structures, much like we do in today's. So directly above us is where the road traffic is traveling through in the tunnel, and then directly above that is where the water is that we just boated across. So we're standing not only beneath water, but the road traffic as well, deep inside the Peterborough Lift Lock.
And it's just cement. There's no steel, rebar, everything inside?
Completely solid cement, stacked on top of each other in a dry pour technique that the engineering superintendent of Richard Birdsell Rogers was the one that pioneered this kind of concrete pour.
Very cool.
If we head over here, we'll be able to see the water pumps. And the water pumps is what will help the lock and assist the lock, and this is where all the main electrical components are as well. So during every lockage, a natural thing that happens, considering it is all concrete and water, and that's what makes the lock, operate between the water pressure and also gravity, is we'll lose a little bit of water through each one of our lockages. So we have the two massive pumps here that will pump the water back in underneath the actual chambers and the press walls that will keep the lock in the exact balance that we need it to be.
Right, okay.
So now we're descending deeper into the lock itself. And at this point here is where, when we exit out underneath, is where we'll be directly underneath the chambers. So welcome to underneath the chambers of the Peterborough Lift Lock. So towering above us 65 feet high is the 1,700-ton chamber that the boats will ride in. The two big massive bathtubs are above our heads. In a matter of moments, we'll be commencing our lockage, and this massive bathtub will come on down to above our heads.
That's so cool.
So standing directly beneath us right now is a 12-inch pipe, or what we call the crossover valve. So this is the valve here. This pipe makes the whole lock operate. So these two massive chambers and this massive piston beside us goes over 80 feet into the ground, and it's actually floating in water. So what happens is when Kathleen, our lock operator up there, commences the lockage, once we open the plate, the valve here, all the water from the weight of this extra chamber presses down, forces the water from up the chamber here through this 12-inch pipe and over to the other side. So whatever happens to this chamber here, when this one drops a foot, that one rises a foot. It's two massive bathtubs on a teeter-totter.
Yeah, like that's like the clever design where it's complex and massive, but like the meat and potatoes of it is pretty simple. Basic.
And that's where this has been in operation since 1904 with the exact same principle of its crossover valve. The only upgrades that we've done is added to the hydraulics component, which was done in the late 60s, early 70s. And then we've done over the last little bit, we've done a couple little minor tweaks with the operating control panel and some of the limit switches, upgrading technology. But the real base technology from the early, late 1800s, early 1900s still is in existence today.
I will admit that even though we're standing on dry land, this is one of the coolest boating experiences I've had. And I imagine not many people have had this opportunity, right?
Nah, this is something we hold pretty exclusive and only for our friends at PowerBoat Television.
Hey.
Or for the people who want to try a different dining experience. This year we actually hosted, you know, a gala dinner underneath these chambers.
Down here?
Down here.
No way.
Yeah. So again, it takes 90 seconds from start to finish. The chamber above us is the heavier of the two lock chambers with the boats fully loaded inside these bathtubs. As the weight of the water presses down, you can see the ram deeper into the actual earth and into our limestone collar cave. Water forces in through the Claxton valve or the crossover valve to the other side. So whatever happens on this chamber happens directly on the other side. If you peek through the window there, you can see the other one rising.
Oh, yeah. That's so cool.
So now we have the weight of the water of 1,700 tons, the 4 boats in the lock chambers above us, and now they're directly coming on top of our heads.
And Aaron's okay over there, right?
I think Aaron's okay.
Hey, just look up, make sure you're...
Yeah. Our staff member's there, so
Yeah.
it slows down quite a bit, so he'll be fine. So now the darkness falls upon us. So you'll see it.
And then so
it's gonna hit the limit switches here, and that's when the chamber slows itself down.
Okay.
So before, we used to always have to have our finger on the emergency stop button in case it flipped through that or went through the sink, and then we'd have to hit stop, but we're fine. And you'll see it, it's gonna hit
When
it.
it hits the switch, it's like
It slows down. Yep.
to
To slow it down, exactly. So hits the switch, there we go right now, boom, and you're gonna see there it goes slower down there. So now it's just went from, you know, which the valve runs at about 80%, so then it slows down right now to about 10% for the last little bit, and then it's gonna flip in there, and then that's when it's gonna stop the chambers completely.
That is cool.
And then our clearance at the end of it, when it's all the way down, we'll have a few inches prior to hitting on the wooden buffer pieces that we have, so it's not having the steel on the concrete. And all the lock chambers, the steel above us, the steel that we're touching now is still original from the original construction in the early 1900s. Concrete around us, the steel above us, all the rivets, the chambers that are holding in there and the actual rams themselves are still original from early 1900 construction.
That is insane.
And the fascinating piece with it is locally made, Canadian made. So the lock itself, with the chambers, the concrete and everything was actually all manufactured, built and made in Canada.
Hey, you build it right, you don't have to fix it.
Yeah. Now we're beneath the other side. So the chamber that was down is now completely rose.
Cool.
And the gate behind us is currently holding back all the water from here to Peterborough.
Strong gate?
A pretty strong gate.
You know, Chad, I think you and I might have different definitions of gala dinners.
When we actually run the gala dinner, we tend to roll out the red carpet a little bit more with white tablecloths, you know, and a little bit more of a service element to this. You guys are just PowerBoat Television.
It's a cool lunch though.
When was the last time you had lunch under a lift lock?
First time.